Hello and good afternoon. So today we are again here in the 16th leadership trait, which is strategic foresight. Now this may be not required for everybody, but you have to plan it in this manner that you have to learn, keeping this in mind, and learn from how the other your seniors are using this, how your organizational bosses are using this, how your national leaders are using this. The national leaders, they have to do a lot of strategic thinking. They have to do a plan. Government has to be prepared for contingencies. So you will have to visualize various situations, work out the best option available to you at that time, and also work to create those conditions in future which will be favorable to you. So this is something which concerns the senior leaders, the organizational bosses, the country bureaucracy, the politicians who are running this country, the governments, and also the strategic leaders at various other industries, banks, and even the armed forces. So this is something, because see, in armed forces, if you visualize something, then creation of that counter to that takes a lot of time. Now say for example, you have now seen the Russia-Ukraine war. Now in this war, there have been a lot of usage of drones. Now those drones were earlier thought of being used only for recce, surveillance, photography. But now they can be used for guidance of weapons. They can also be made into weapons themselves. The kamikaze drones, the shipping is at a loss, at a threat, because you can overwhelm the early warning system. You can launch hundreds and thousands of drones, and then people, how many can you shoot down? How many can you counter? Some will be able to penetrate. It is the similar thing with missiles. Like when Iran and Israel war was going on, Iran was able to launch maybe hundreds of missiles, and the Iron Dome of Israel could not intercept all of them, could not stop all of them. But then they had visualized an Iron Dome kind of a situation beforehand. And imagine if the Iron Dome system was not there, what the hundreds of missiles by Iran could have caused, what havoc. So similarly, the normal tank warfare, when the tanks are advancing, the anti-tank weapons were there, and then anti-tank missiles were there and all. And now there are drones which are hunting tanks, which are hunting artillery pieces, which are hunting armored vehicles. So how do you counter drones? And if you want to get some technology to counter drones, say for example jamming them, or hijacking their frequencies and misguiding them, or feeding a different kind of a GPS so that their system, the target which they are going for appears to be somewhere else or not there. So how long will you need a technology preparation time? So if tomorrow something happens and you have not visualized it, you will be ill prepared to defend it. Similarly, there may be situations like tax change. Now Mr. Trump has launched a tariff war. So people would not have visualized that he will do this. So how do you prepare for that? How do you prepare for your company closing? Immediately there is something happens and the company closes. Do you have any plan for that? So these are many things which, in your day-to-day life also you can think of. If my people who are listening to me are young, you fall in love with a girl or a boy, and all of a sudden that girl or a boy moves out of the town or get married to somebody else. Have you prepared for that? So this may be applicable everywhere. But the point is that let's go through the points. So how do you manage? How can you prepare yourself? And how can you cultivate the qualities which are required for a leader to be able to have a strategic foresight? The first is you have to stay informed. You have to scan the horizon. You have to see what are the situations going on, what technological advances, what rule position changes. So you have to be updated, networked. You have to attend conferences, you have to read news, you have to be reading the policy guidelines, you have to read whatever is coming in plain text, and also read what is in between the lines. So if you do that, you will be able to analyze as to what is going to impact you or your organization. And then once you know the problem, you can work to find a solution. But if you don't know the problem, then it will hit you. The moment it comes, it will be a surprise. The second thing is that you have got the information, and then the thing is that it may be fluid, it may change. There are many possibilities, and those possibilities will give you a number of options to work upon. You may be able to counter one or two things, you may not be able to counter something else. So you have to be prepared for various possibilities, and you have to do scenario planning. Like in the war games, you have a scenario, you have a basic picture, what is the situation. It will start with, like in the army war games, it will start with blue land and red land are two countries. They are having a problem since 1947, and then there is a green land somewhere next to it, and it is neutral, but then it is possibly linked towards the purple land. And there have been some cases, and there has been a government upheaval, and the purple land has instigated the green land to do something neglect. So blah 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 blah. Slowly, then it will come down to the actual problems, and then there is a border flare up, or there is some kind of an incident, or there is a sinking of a ship by this enemy submarine in the Indian Ocean, and some kind of a situation, scenario building is done. So you have to also do your own scenario building and try to understand the external forces, what all they can do, in what all combinations. In that, say for example, in your office, you may be thinking that, okay, my boss is like that, and so A, B and C, they are his favorites, and the C fellow is not comfortable with me, and if I tell him something unpleasant, he is going to go and complain about me. So how you have to manage C? And if you know, if you do not manage B, ultimately he will get you thrown out of the company, but you have to manage him. You will have to counter him. Possibly they are doing something wrong which you are against it. You will have to look for proof. You have to collect proof and arguments, and so that you can inform the boss whenever the confrontation takes place, or whenever you have the proof that this fellow is doing so much of harm to the organization. So this kind of a thing, you have to analyze the strength of the adversary or the situation, or the the situation which is going to confront you. But alongside, you have to also analyze your own strengths. So the SWOT analysis, as it is called, strength, weaknesses, opportunity and threats. So these are the four corners of any analysis. So you can do that whatever you want to do on the with yourself, where you are weak, what is the areas where you need to improve, and the point is that you will have to be doing constant work to upgrade your capabilities, your skills. For that you have to have a culture or a habit of continuous learning. So you cannot just be static कि मैंने MBA कर लिया 2012 में और now I am the CEO and I am on top of the things. There may be 100% change other than the basic concepts, basic leadership traits, but then the environment, the working environment, the equations, the policies and the other kind of inventions, discoveries, they would have changed the scenario or the canvas, so to say, and you have to be updated with your continuous learning. So when you are updated, you will also be able to handle the newcomers, the people who have just come with the latest information, latest technology, latest schemes and latest problems. You will be able to handle them, interact with them at their level, and yet be able to guide them towards being a better leader. And then the most important part, after all the scenario planning, SWOT analysis, learning, scanning the horizon and doing whatever you have done. So the most important part now is to take action. Now the taking action is to translate your insight into actionable strategy. So you have to see what are the challenges, what are the opportunities, and then you have to have a clear goal, and then you have to have a roadmap. You see, I am here, I have to go there. So how do I reach that place? So it will vary with various situations, with various individuals, with various organizations. It will vary for a student, it will vary for a new person who just joined a job, it will vary for a father, it will vary for a person who is into business, it will vary for a person who wants to start a business, leave a job, start a business, or a new career, or switch the careers. So they will all be different. So you have to check yourself how you can take action. So be very sure about it that the foresight planning will give you a lot of confidence and it will increase your chances of success. And if you have done this with your team will also be motivated and they will also be in a manner fired up to meet the emerging situation whenever that comes. Now, there are many stories of strategic foresight and how a small little idea can change your life. And sometimes when you do this kind of a thing, you have to you will surprise yourself, you will also surprise so many other people. You may have to keep certain people in the loop, some people outside the loop, depending on the level of what action you are taking. So possibly I have given you this example before, but I will tell you again. In 1971 war, when the war started, the Dhaka was supposed to be the headquarter, strong point and the biggest prize for the Pakistan army in East Pakistan. And the terrain, as you know, is marshy, lot of water, bodies, a lot of nalas, rivers, tributaries, low-lying areas, and there is a lot of rural areas, lack of road network, etc., etc. So the war plans were the way it was, and the going was not very great. After some time, when the people realized that Dhaka is under threat, so they started protecting Dhaka very strongly. So thereafter, the Corps Commander, who was 4 Corps Commander General Sagat Singh, he decided that you cannot just keep on banging your head against the front and keep on playing into the enemy's hand by fighting the delaying battle the way he was fighting, and you have to go for the rear. You have to go and aim to capture Dhaka, so that when Dhaka falls, then the whole army will collapse. So for that he launched operations. He bypassed the defenses, do not fight head on, bypass the defenses, and thereafter with speed rush towards Dhaka, and thereafter in Tengale area the 2 para airborne operation also took place. 1 full battalion, 2 para was airdropped by parachutes. Then they were linked up with the armor columns, and this is how the Dhaka fell. In fact, the aircrafts also Air Force had played a part. In fact, Governor's house was hit by a missile, where General Niazi was present at that time. So this kind of a thing which nobody thought of in the normal routine set piece battle. But when this immediate action was taken, and within I think a week or so the whole game changed, and you have this end of the 14-day war, and then Dhaka collapsed without much of a problem. We had a solid victory with 93,000 prisoners of war. Now imagine 93,000 people, soldiers were there, and they surrendered. हमारे यहाँ तो एक अभिमन्यु सरेंडर करने को तैयार नहीं होता. 93,000 people, and they were forced to surrender. Psychologically they realized कि अरे वो ढाका तो गया, आगे खड़े होकर लड़ने से क्या फायदा. So this is a strategic thinking, and I am told, I don't know for sure, but I am told General Sagat Singh did not inform his army commander that I am planning like this. But then obviously he must be knowing. But the point is that this was a very bold action, and it was a very strategic action. If it had failed, it could have possibly brought a very bad name and setback. But this is how, when you are well prepared, you have done your SWOT analysis, you have got the knowledge, you have analyzed the thing very correctly, and then you have taken bold action, you will meet with success. So I am sure with every level of leadership requirement in your life, in your career, in your study, profession, business, wherever, you will be able to make use of these traits. And we got 4 more left. That is just about 1 month. So thereafter you will be well prepared to do your own analysis, preparation, and if you need any further guidance or something, I will be there. Give me suggestions. And मेरे से ना ये भर्ती वाले सवाल ना पूछा करो यार, कि मैं भर्ती होना चाहता हूं, मैंने ये किया, मैंने वो किया. मैं यहाँ पे आपको फौज में जवान बनाने के लिए नहीं बैठा हूं. मैं आपको फौज में अफसर बनाने के लिए बैठा हूं. मैं आपको MBA करने के लिए बैठा हूं. मैं आपको इंजीनियर, डॉक्टर बनाने के लिए बैठा हूं. मैं आपको IAS, IPS बनाने के लिए बैठा हूं. तो अगर आप मेरी बातें सिर्फ फौज में जवान भर्ती होने के लिए सीखना चाहते हो, तो भाई जाओ यार, टाइम वेस्ट मत करो, किसी और के पास चले जाओ. काइंडली अपना सोच को ऊंचा करो. जब तक सोच ऊंची नहीं होगी, आप ऊपर तक लाइफ में नहीं जा पाओगे. अब मेरी बात जिसको बुरी लगे, तो भैया मेरे आप हाथ जोड़ के विनती है कि बुरा मत मानो, लेकिन आप जाओ, मेरा चैनल छोड़ दो, मत देखा करो, और आप जो है अपना टाइम वेस्ट कर रहे हो. मैं आपको जवान बनने में कोई मदद नहीं कर सकता, लेकिन आप जो है अपना लाइफ में एम ऊंचा करिए, और वी हैव टू look for that. Now somebody is asking me about 3 front war. We'll have to talk about it separately. We are not qualified, neither you are qualified nor I am qualified to talk about 3 front war. Do your own analysis and learn the basics first. All the best to all of you, and take care. God bless you, and Jai Hind.